You know, they are the people that you see in public with big titles and big offices. And then they are the people you never see. But those are the people who actually run things. Those are the people with real power. Now, in case you did not know, the two most powerful people in the Ruto administration were never elected by anybody. They were appointed. And they have super fascinating characters. And these two very powerful people, whom Kenyans know very little about, are Felix Koskei, Secretary to the Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service, and Farouk Kibet, who has been Ruto's personal assistant and most trusted aide for years. These are the two gentlemen who are making all the decisions. Oh yes, forget cabinet secretaries. Prime cabinet secretary, nothing. Even deputy president, hiyo ni kitu kidogo. These are the real power. Now Farouk Kibet's story is very long, with plenty of drama, bin drama, Arab drama zote pamoja. Okay? And therefore, let me start with Felix Koskei. You know, Bwana Koskei was in Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's cabinet. Indeed, he was in Uhuru Kenyatta's very first cabinet, appointed on 25th April 2013. And sample the following. Immediately the relationship between Ruto and Uhuru, iliharibika. That was the time Bwana Koskei's things also went bad. And Mr. Koskei left Uhuru's cabinet under very controversial circumstances. You see, he was the CS, Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. And he was accused of illegally allocating permits for the importation of sugar. He was also accused of instigating the illegal cultivation of 100 acres of government land. In retrospect, things today are much clearer, because it was at this time that Uhuru and Ruto fell out, and it was not yet public that things between these two gentlemen, who used to call each other by first names in public, we the wananchi had not realized that wamekosana. But actually, Uhuru was getting quite a headache running government with Ruto's people within the same government. And it must have become very clear to the president then that these people were not taking instructions from him. And even when he gave them instructions, they would have first of all to check with somebody else. In this case, the then deputy president. And this became very clear later, because first of all they were asked to step down while investigations on the allegations were carried out, after which Bwana Felix Koskei was cleared. But when Uhuru had finished reorganizing his government and appointed a brand new cabinet in 2018, Bwana Koskei was not there, despite the fact that he had been cleared. And we did not hear again about Bwana Koskei until 2022, after the elections, when he was appointed by Ruto to his current position. Now, interestingly, the way Bwana Koskei operates these days is much bigger than his official position, because he even inspects development projects. That's right. And what is even more telling, you know, all the CSs, including the Prime Cabinet Secretary, all the powerful people we know in the Ruto administration cannot make a decision on their own. They always have to consult They always have to take instructions from Ruto. Except two gentlemen who make the decisions on their own, Felix Koskei and Farouk Kibet. Insiders usually say it is because they already know the president's mind. They don't need to consult him. Be as it may, these two gentlemen make decisions, and they're the only ones in the Ruto administration who make independent decisions. That tells you a lot, doesn't it? Now, the most accurate job description for Farouk Kibet is the following. He is Ruto's Mr. Fix-It. He fixes problems. And I mean all problems. There are no boundaries to the problems Farouk can fix, has fixed for Ruto over the years. But you'll not believe it. When these two gentlemen met for the first time, it was not love at first sight. It was intense hatred for each other at first sight. But before I come to that story, let me talk about a problem that Farouk Kibet has not been able to fix. It is a nagging problem in the Ruto administration. And some people will tell you that this problem is unfixable. Actually, I discuss it in great detail in my special report, where I still have some slots remaining in the 50 I was targeting. You can see details on the screens right now. In this report, which talks about all the dramatic things happening in Kenyan politics, but chini ya maji, away from the public limelight, but things which are deadly and have far-reaching consequences on our politics and indeed on the future of Kenya, I would highly recommend that special report. Of course, it also talks about some of the moves by Uhuru and Raila Amolo Odinga, which the public are not aware of. All this drama chini ya maji. The slots that are remaining are few, so I would strongly recommend and suggest that you take action quickly in order to avoid disappointment. Right. The first time Farouk Kibet met William Ruto was in 1997, during the general elections in that year, when William Ruto decided to take on giants for the Eldoret North seat. Powerful people, experienced politicians, like the incumbent then, the sitting MP, William Saina, and yet another political giant, a personal friend of Moi, who was president then, a man called Ruben Chesire. In fact, in those elections, Ruto ended up embarrassing President Moi. Why? Because Moi came to Eldoret North and personally campaigned for his good friend of many years, Ruben Chesire. But Ruto still emerged, or rather Ruto still announced the winner. It is believed that after those elections is when Farouk Kibet started respecting Ruto. And the two got together shortly after that. And from that day, they have never been apart. Ni kama shanga na pete. Very close. Now you need to understand that Bwana Kibet is a very aggressive character who does not have any people skills. And therefore over the years, other people close to Ruto have tried very hard, have done everything to get rid of Bwana Kibet, but they have been unsuccessful. And the most dramatic effort to get rid of Kibet was in November 2018, during the funeral of his father, Paul Kibet. Now at that funeral, the speakers, instead of focusing on the life of the departed, fully focused on the bad side of Farouk Kibet. Imagine that during a funeral. You have come to bury your father, and then you get into a situation where speaker after speaker is talking about you, the bad things about you. But it was also at that meeting that we discovered a lot of interesting things about how Bwana Kibet operates. According to people like Aden Duale, Farouk did not have an office in those days, when Ruto was deputy president. Instead, Kina Duale and Mukomen talked about this corridor, where Farouk Kibet was always hanging around. And according to them, terrorizing people coming to visit the deputy president. They told us that it was possible for everybody to clear you, the security downstairs, the secretary, and even Ruto himself would clear you, come up to my office. But if you met Farouk Kibet and he decided that you are not going to see Ruto, that was the end of it. You would not see him. It did not matter who you are. In other words, Farouk Kibet is so powerful that sometimes he even overrules Ruto himself. Can you imagine that? That is the truth. Some of us will remember that during the UDA campaigns, there were complaints from some very prominent heavyweights within UDA that Farouk Kibet was harassing them. In one dramatic development, a certain legislator came to claim allowance for a meeting over the weekend, which they did not attend. At least when Farouk Kibet took in the clips from that meeting, he did not see the face of that individual. And therefore, according to this legislator, Farouk slapped him. Yeah. By the way, in 2018 we were also informed that the deputy president used to serve lunch for all those who had come to see him when he was deputy president at his office. And it was a very good, sumptuous lunch. But if Farouk Kibet decided you're not eating that lunch, it did not matter who you were. You would not eat that lunch. What? And that's not all. The name of this man, Farouk Kibet, has always appeared in the biggest controversies, in the biggest scandals. NYS, he was named. The Jacob Juma assassination, his name came up from somebody who came forward and claimed that he had been part of the team that had been sent. And he mentioned Farouk Kibet's name. Of course, this man and his claims were later discredited. And the murder of Jacob Juma remains a mystery to this day. And even when the deputy president was facing charges at the ICC, the chief prosecutor then, Madam Fatwa Bensouda, named Farouk Kibet as one of the characters who was interfering with witnesses. Witnesses in that case against William Ruto. Now please allow me to give you some homework. If you check any meeting of President Ruto, you will always see seated, a seat or two behind him, you will always see Farouk Kibet present. He goes with Ruto everywhere. Indeed, it is not surprising that Kibet's relationship with people like Musalia and Mudavadi, the chief cabinet secretary, and people like Ruto and Gachagua, the deputy president, is very icy. It is not good, because the politicians feel that he has been given too much power. And in Farouk's mind, these politicians are not to be trusted. And his mission is to protect Ruto, to go to any lengths to protect Ruto at all costs. So there you are, the two most powerful people in the Ruto administration today. And so, if it is true that the decisions these two have made have greatly impacted in the country and continue to impact, then maybe they should get some of the blame, not all of it, some of the blame for the total failure of the Ruto administration. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.